Hey guys, so you ever want to start getting into Gundam, but not quite sure where to start because there's just so many different types of Gundam animes, and more keep coming out every year? Don't worry, I've got you covered. But alright, the first thing you need to know is that not all Gundam animes happen in the same universe. A lot of these are actually just standalone animes, or only have maybe 2 animes at best, that take place in that universe, so it's actually not as bad as you think. In this list, I'm only going to cover the main Gundam animes, and I won't be covering any side stories or the Gundam Build series. Also, I won't be doing any major spoilers or anything in this list, since, this is mainly for people looking to get into Gundam in general. These are the top 7 best starting points for the Gundam series. With that, we move on to number 7 on this list, Mobile Suit Gundam: The Witch from Mercury. This anime came out in 2022 and stars Suletta, who's actually our first female protagonist for a main Gundam anime, and her quote, not a Gundam, unquote, Ariel, who come from Mercury to go to a technology school in a world where Gundam technology is banned. This one scored the lowest on my list since it branches off a bit hard from the other Gundam series, but it does have its moments though where the plot will just suck you in, and I think visually it does look the best out of all the Gundam animes. If this is your first time trying out a Gundam series, then this could be a great starting point for you. Next up on the list, at number 6, comes Mobile Fighter G Gundam. Originally airing in 1994, this Gundam anime is about Domon Kashu, a martial artist from a Japanese space colony, fighting a tournament on Earth with his Shining Gundam to decide which nation earns the right to rule all of space while simultaneously trying to get revenge on his brother for stealing the Dark Gundam and having their father suffer for his crime. This anime basically feels like it was Sunrise's attempt to make Gundam a little bit more mainstream by making it something more like a shonen. It even has unique cockpits where instead of traditional controls, the pilot is actually wearing a fight suit that lets their mobile suit mimic their movements. Honestly, this series is enjoyable to watch as long as you don't take it too seriously. I enjoyed a lot of the battles and the Shining Gundam's design, along with the God Gundam, and the Devil's Gundam design was super unique. If you're not sure where to start, but enjoy shonens like Dragon Ball Z or Yu Yu Hakusho, then this could be the starting point for you. Next up at number 5 on our list, we have Mobile Suit Gundam Wing. Released in 1995, this anime is a bit unique from the others. It actually stars 5 different Gundams with their own pilots and unique abilities, coming down from space to fight for the independence of their space colonies. The actual main character of the series is Hiro Yui, who was a child soldier and was actually trained to pilot the Gundam, instead of that whole cliche with a kid stumbling into the cockpit. And it definitely has that 90s animation, if you're a fan of that, and a lot of edginess and drama, although there are some points where the dialogue gets a little bit weird. But funny enough, this is actually the very first Gundam anime that I ever started with, so I do have a bit of a bias, but this is my personal favorite. But even despite that, this is still number 5 on my list. Coming in at number 4, we have Gundam Seed. Originally airing in 2002, this anime almost feels like an updated reboot of the original Gundam series, and was the first Gundam anime to fully stop using hand-drawn animation. It's all about Kira, a boy living on a colony that comes under attack by an enemy faction looking for secret mobile suits stored there. Sure enough, the enemy intel is correct because there actually are 5 secret prototype mobile suits stored there, called Gundams. To add on a little bit of extra drama, one of the enemy soldiers sent to steal the suits actually turns out to be Kira's childhood friend, Athrun. Now, I actually recommend using this Gundam anime as a starting point since it basically feels like a more modern version of the original Gundam, although, keep in mind, some of the CGI is a little bit dated, and it oftentimes reuses a lot of the same animation scenes. Here's looking at you, Buster Gundam. But Keep in mind, if you start with this anime, it also has a second series that takes place in this universe called Gundam Seed Destiny. Although, it didn't do as good as the first series did, but on top of that, this series also has an upcoming movie in this universe that, at this time of recording, is due to come out early next year. Coming in at number 3 on our list, we have Gundam 00. While Gundam Seed feels like a more modern version of the original Mobile Suit Gundam, this version feels like a more defined version of Gundam Wing. Originally airing in 2008, this series is about 4 pilots using their high-performance secret mobile suits, called Gundams, to host armed interventions around the world in the path to create world peace. Our main character this time around is a boy named Setsuna, and he's actually a bit similar to Hiroyui at the beginning of Gundam Wing, in that he's also a child soldier that was eventually trained to pilot his Gundam, along with his 3 other teammates called Gundam Meisters. This series has pretty unique Gundams, and the Gundam Meisters are all memorable in their own ways. The animation this time around is definitely better than Gundam Seed's animation, and this series has a lot of twists and turns, and a lot of drama throughout it, and I can easily recommend it. Okay, now coming in at number 2 is Mobile Suit Gundam Iron-Blooded Orphans. This series was originally aired in 2015, and it's about a group of orphans that are basically treated like slaves, working for a company on Mars, with a lot of them even being referred to as space debris. Until one day, when being attacked by a mobile suit from a powerful military organization called Galahorn, all the adults grab their things and just leave the area, leaving the kids to fend for themselves. Luckily for the kids, though, they unearthed a mobile suit prior to the attack. A mobile suit from a war that was fought 300 years prior, called the Gundam. Now, if you're not into mech anime at all, or if this is your first mech anime, I heavily recommend this one. It's got so many things going for it besides just the mech battles. First of all of the children aren't afraid to get down and dirty when it comes to a lot of the battles, mechs or no mechs. And you can't help but get attached to a lot of the side characters during the story. What I also like about this anime is it's fairly realistic compared to some of the other animes. No magic ESP powers or Space Jesus memes in this one. Hell, even the Gundam itself damn near needs constant maintenance after every battle. And this definitely has one of the better stories that a lot of people would probably enjoy. And with that, we've finally come down to the end of our list. And coming in at number 1 is the original Mobile Suit Gundam. This one takes place in the Universal Century, and it's, well, the universe that started it all. Not to mention where a good chunk of the Gundam animes take place in. Originally released in 1979, this series takes place in the fictional year Universal Century 0079, and stars a young 17-year-old boy named Amuro Ray, who stumbles into a Gundam. You actually tend to see this whole young boy stumbles into a Gundam trope a lot in future Gundam series, by the way. But anyway, he stumbles into the Gundam while his colony is under attack, and this anime actually has a lot of twists and turns that the viewer would never expect, even by today's standards, and does a really, really good job depicting the horrors of war and how it affects everyone involved. This anime just did a lot of things that were just really ahead of its time. If you can get past the dated animation, I mean, it's from over 40 years ago, so of course it's dated, but I highly, highly, highly recommend that you start with this one. And with that, we reach the end of our list. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Do you agree with my list? Do you disagree? Let me know in the comments, and if you like the content, feel free to drop a like and subscribe for more. And I'll catch you in the next one.